Taylor Sheridan's The Madison explained as Yellowstone creators' next project makes progress. Yellowstone's prequel 1923 has come to an end, and with the Dutton family's future on pause for the time being, fans are keen to know what else Taylor Sheridan has in store. The actor and writer already has some huge titles under his belt, from Mayor of Kingstown to Tulsa King, and most recently, Lioness and Landman. The 54-year-old star, who was recently inducted into the Texas Business Hall of Fame, is now creating, writing, and executive producing a new Paramount Plus series called The Madison. In May 2023, Paramount gave the go-ahead for the Yellowstone spin-off, and principal photography began in 2024. Filming took place in Montana in the autumn of that year, while some scenes were filmed in Dallas in mid-November. Filming moved to Fort Worth, Texas, in late November and lasted until the end of the year. Fort Worth Film Commissioner Taylor Hardy explained how 7th Street between Taylor and Lamar Streets were transformed into New York City for the shoot. So much goes into film production. Often crews of 800 to 1,200 people are on set helping with all those logistics, from street closures to costumes to hair and makeup, background extras, he told Fox 4 News. In August 2024, it was announced Michelle Pfeiffer would both star in and executive produce the series. The 66-year-old American actress will play Stacy Cliburn. The rest of the cast so far includes Patrick J. Adams as Russell Mantosh, Elle Chapman as Paige McIntosh, and Matthew Fox as Paul. Bill Garrett has joined as Abigail Reese, with Amy Miller as Bridget Reese, Ben Schnetzer as Van, and Kevin Zegers as Cade. Finally, Rebecca Spence will star as Liliana Weeks, with Elena Pollack as Macy and Danielle Vasanova as Kestrel. The series follows the McIntosh family, originally from New York City, who live in the Madison River Valley of central Montana. Stacy Cliburn, the family matriarch who moves her brood following her husband's death. Matthew Fox's character, Paul, is described as a self-reliant bachelor who loves the outdoors. Director Christina Alexandra-Voros told Variety of the Yellowstone connection, "We are in Montana, but it is seen through a completely different lens, so it feels like another facet of this cut stone that has been polished. There are parallels in the scope of landscape and a human being's place in that space, but it's coming at it from a completely different point of view." In the dusty wake of Yellowstone, 1883 and 1923, Taylor Sheridan isn't slowing his gallop. If anything, he's charging headfirst into another sprawling Western saga, one that promises to be as searing, visceral, and emotionally tangled as anything that's come before. It's called The Madison, and if whispers from the creative choral are to be believed, it could be Sheridan's boldest frontier yet. So what exactly is The Madison? While plot details have been locked tighter than a cattle gate on branding day, we do know this. The Madison is set in the rugged wilds of southwestern Montana, tracing the legacy of a powerful ranching family whose empire sprawls across the Madison Valley. Unlike Yellowstone, which focused on political tension and land wars in modern-day Montana, the Madison is said to dip a boot into 2 timelines, one in the 1970s, the other in the present. It's an era Sheridan knows well, when Montana was both untamed and quietly undergoing an identity crisis, with outside developers sniffing around the open range, Native American lands being increasingly politicized, and rural families split between tradition and progress. In typical Sheridan style, the Madison doesn't just focus on cattle and cowboys. It digs deep into the moral grid of those who hold power over the land and those who fight to reclaim it. The Madison family. At the center of this new saga is the eponymous Madison family, led by patriarch Willie Madison, a third-generation rancher with the charisma of John Dutton and the volatility of Rip Wheeler on a bad day. Wiley is described as a reluctant king, a man who never wanted the crown, but wears it like it was branded into his skin. In the 1970s timeline, Wiley is younger, fierce, and torn between his loyalty to the land and his love for a woman who doesn't want to be tethered to it. In the modern storyline, Wiley is in his twilight years, watching as his children feud over the ranch's future. His eldest son, Levi, believes in modernization, selling off land to tech developers, and running a more sustainable operation. His daughter, Callista, a war veteran turned cattlewoman, wants to preserve the original vision. No fracking, no wind farms, no outsiders. And then there's Jesse, the black sheep and self-proclaimed poet of the plains, who returns to the valley after years in exile, bringing with him secrets, scandal, and a quiet vengeance. Sound familiar? Sure. But Sheridan's gift has never been about reinventing the Western. It's about modernizing the mythology and giving it soul. Echoes of Yellowstone, but something more. Sheridan once said that Yellowstone was his soap opera with spurs, but the Madison is shaping up to be something more intimate. Less high political drama, more generational trauma. Think less Senate hearings and assassination plots, and more long-buried family secrets, ancient treaties broken, and dusty journals that reveal the sins of the father. And yes, there will be plenty of horses, gunfights, whiskey, and hard stares. According to early reports, the pilot episode opens with a haunting scene. Wiley Madison, now in his 80s, stands by the frozen banks of the Madison River. He drops a family heirloom into the icy water and whispers a name, one we're not meant to recognize yet. Then the camera cuts to a flashback of Willie as a teenager, branding his first calf under the guidance of his brutal father, Hank. The message is clear. This story isn't just about legacy, it's about survival. A familiar but fresh cast. While no official casting has been announced, there's buzz that Sheridan is once again calling on his trusted stable of actors. Speculation swirls around Josh Brolin, who reportedly met with Sheridan in Bozeman last month. Fans are also hoping to see recurring favorites like Gil Birmingham and Jefferson White, possibly in new roles or as connective tissue between Yellowstone and the Madison. Rumors even suggest that the Madison may subtly intertwine with the broader Sheridan-verse. Could a young John Dutton make a cameo? Could 1883's surviving descendants ride into this new tale, 90 years older and a hell of a lot wiser? Sheridan's been known to play the long game, and this may be his most ambitious chess move yet. The landscape as a character. In Sheridan's work, the land is never just background. It's a living, breathing character. And the Madison is no exception. Filming is expected to take place in the Madison Valley itself, a jaw-dropping expanse of high plains and snow-capped peaks that rival even the most cinematic backdrops of Yellowstone. Sheridan is reportedly leaning into the natural beauty of the region, letting the wide-open spaces reflect the emotional distance between characters. He's also working with several local tribes to incorporate more accurate depictions of indigenous history and influence, a move that shows he's listening to critiques of his earlier works and aiming for deeper authenticity. Progress behind the scenes. Production on the Madison is officially underway, with pre-shoots happening as early as this summer. Sheridan's team has already begun building out the Madison Ranch set, a sprawling compound that includes a restored barn from the 1880s and a functioning cattle run. Behind the camera, Sheridan is teaming up with cinematographer Ben Richardson of Yellowstone and mayor of Kingstown, and composer Brian Tyler, ensuring that the visual and sonic tone of the series will hit the same cinematic highs fans expect. And if reports are to be believed, the Madison could premiere as early as late 2025 on Paramount+. What it all means. Taylor Sheridan isn't just building shows, he's building an empire. With the Madison, he continues his mission to tell big, bold, emotionally resonant American stories. Stories about families bound by land and fractured by time. Stories where loyalty is currency, silence is strategy, and redemption is never guaranteed. For fans of Yellowstone wondering what life looks like beyond the Dutton Ranch, the Madison offers a new horizon. It's not a replacement, it's a reinvention. A new trail with fresh dust, deeper wounds, and characters will come to love, hate, and quote endlessly by the fireplace. So saddle up. Taylor Sheridan's next ride is already kicking up dust, and the Madison is about to change the Western game all over again.